Another end of the world is associated with Nibiru is scheduled for November 19. We live in an era when various degrees involved in the conspiracy, and other pseudo-scientific representatives like UFO are predicting an apocalypse almost every day. Here, did you know, for instance, that nearest the end of the world will happen in 5 days, on November 19? Conspiracy theorists have calculated all of this based on the report of a famous numerologist David Meade and got all tied up with the planet Nibiru, which dominates the internet. Our editorial team decided to investigate the authenticity of information about the mysterious planet X. The authors of this theory argue that the Earth is abnormally close together with the mysterious planet, will lead to irreversible processes, which would be similar to those described in the biblical lines of Armageddon. Some ufologists and does claim that the American government agency NASA is well aware that Nibiru not only exists, but threatens our planet. However, the agency does nothing, so as not to sow panic among the people. However, whether eminent research agency to question its own credibility by engaging in discussions with the alternatives. More to the point now, in fact, if you're hoping that somehow the existence of Nibiru could be proven, it is deeply mistaken. Indeed, there is some remote speculation, theory, assumptions, but no facts, which could catch. In the world of science, identify Shiriba mythical Nibiru as a celestial body, the existence of which indicates the weight of the historical sources, legends of the ancient peoples and others. Despite the fact that NASA regularly accused of concealing information about the planet, the organization claims not to have any information about the existence of the space object. Themselves as pseudo-scientific admirers say that even know the exact location of the planet killer. It is sure these experts, in the Kuiper belt and rotates in the opposite direction from the planets of the solar system side. Now let's see who were the first followers, the alternatives that were able to turn Nibiru into an object of fear for many humans. It is Sitchin Zechariah, a well-known writer and popularizer of the theory about the alien origin of man. On Nibiru, he wrote a lot in his book entitled The 12th Planet, which was allegedly based on ancient legends. A small remark: the Sumerians counted the planets and the sun and the moon. Pluto in those years was still considered a planet, but because Nibiru became the 12th. However, the scientific community reacted to this statement with just devastating criticism. Sitchin accused in writing, distorting quotes, incorrect translations. In particular, head of the philosophy department of Sacramento Todd Carroll said that Sitchin was a master of only a liberal interpretation of the Bible and Sumerian texts, which he exhibited in his own thoughts. That is why the scientific community is highly controversial refers to the existence of Nibiru. Why talking now? A simple answer to this question is very difficult. Perhaps it is the power of the internet, where some information can go viral and turn into what we have today. But the most likely candidate is a follower of the ideas of Sitchin conspiracy and numerologist from Britain's David Meade, who published the book Planet X: The Arrival of 2017. In it, he in all details has described how, in his opinion, after a rendezvous with Nibiru collapse of human civilization, and it will happen in September, then October, now November. In his book, Meade is often quoted. The Bible links the emergence of the Sumerians, and the ancient predictions, which, according to him, and built realities of modern society. People with a scientific mindset, it is unlikely at least as interested in the writings of British, but the followers are, and a lot of them. And they are confident of the correctness and significance of the books of the foreign ministry. The conspiracy theorist claims that the official science would condemn it, so as not to escalate the panic in the community, and in proof of his theory, he gives information about powerful solar flares that occurred not so long ago. NASA charges the foreign ministry reacted calmly overall, but merely pointed out that if the conspiracy had actual knowledge of astronomy, astrophysics and other space-related science, he would know that the Earth has a much larger chance encounter with Venus, which is very close in the cosmic sense, of course. It can happen, however, not earlier than the next couple thousand years. So should we be afraid? Rather no than yes. The answer is quite simple: just because at the moment there is no one in any worthwhile evidence that Nibiru exists, or that threatens the Earth with total annihilation. All theories about wandering the planet, and periodic returns to the sun to destroy all life look more like a horror movie aimed at people who are not familiar with science and all the conventions associated with Nibiru. It is not surprising that Nibiru is directed against a quite organized persecution in the scientific community. Astrophysics, for example, claim that if you start from the information that the space object belongs to the solar system, it would, for it is simply not enough space and material with which it was created. However, isn't convinced by these arguments of those who questioned the predictions of people who lived thousands of years ago. The question remains unanswered.